But anyway, can we move on to the next segment? Because we have a return, ladies and gentlemen, to one of the more popular segments. We've not had it again for the past couple weeks because of breaking news. But since all the news that's broken is broken this week, we're going to bring back, ladies and gentlemen, one of our popular recurring segments, talking about Reggie's Corner.
Reggie's Corner. We're here to talk about your good boys and girls. Reggie's Corner. We're so sorry they're dead now.
Oh, me.
There it is. It's still there.
Anyway, not going to go into a ton of detail but again this week because we want to recognize a number of people and don't want to bring everyone down, but our good boys and girls deserve recognition no matter what species they may belong to. And I tell you, the first one, Eric from Hamilton, Ontario, and you know who you are, but if not, you lost your 16-year-old cat, Special Agent Jack Bauer. And Eric wrote an email, and I can't read it, or elsewise I won't be in the mood to do the rest of the show. It was very sad. His wife and son, he all loved Special Agent Jack Bauer, and he was 16 years old, almost 17, and half Persian, half tabby. So, again, Eric, we're sorry for your loss there, but dadgummit, I'm going to snurfle if I read any more of that. Rich, where are you from, Rich? You didn't say. But you lost your cat, Bootsy's, also at 16 years old, one of the most affectionate cats he had ever known, usually falling asleep right above his wife's head. So Rich had a wife with a pussy on her head every night, and now Bootsy's gone. And we're going to miss Bootsy. Dominic wrote, today I had to let my best friend Sassy, a.k.a. Sassafras, cross the Rainbow Bridge after a short battle with cancer. She was a half-blind tabby cat, but never acted as if it was an issue. She would lay in the most unnecessary spots and plant all of her weight if I tried moving her. Her favorite spot was in front of my heater, which she headbutted so much that it had dents in it.
Okay. Sounds like a healthy relationship.
Sassy loved listening to the shows and hearing Jim lose his mind at AEW.
Clearly, she was banging her head out.
Clearly, he says a place in Reggie's Corner would mean the world to me. By the way, does Colin Thompson owe you money?
Very good. Very good.
But was she banging her head into the heater till it was dented while she was listening to our programs? I'm hoping not.
We're very big with the headbangers.
Well, Dominic, we're sorry about Sassafras, but you might ought to have looked into a kitty psychiatrist. Anyway, Zeb from Kannapolis, North Carolina, his 15-year-old dog Lundy passed away, and he said about her, she will be greatly missed by everyone in the house, especially the kids who have known her their entire lives. And you know, that's so when you think about it, if you time the kids and the dog or the cat or whatever, the pet at the same time, kids are probably going to outlast the pet, and then they've known little Lundy or whoever for all their lives. That's sad.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Chris from Livingston, New Jersey.
Hey, that's right over here.
Right over there. You're over there now?
They used to have an okay deli there, and then they closed during the pandemic.
Well, here's something else they're known for. Apparently, Chris says he lost his dog, Mickey, who passed away from cancer. But it's, you know, he says it's hard to watch wrestling now because he was a huge Cody and Punk and Sami Zayn mark. He got excited over their music and would bark. But nevertheless, we're sorry about Mickey, Chris, but he says also, P.S. I know QT Marshall is from Livingston, New Jersey. Please don't hold it against us.
Oh, no shit. I knew he was from New Jersey. I didn't know it was Livingston. Wow, that's interesting. It makes me see him very differently.
Or maybe he was working in that deli.
No, I don't think he was.
That's
That deli was bullshit. You know what the biggest bullshit thing is? You wouldn't know anything about this. In New York.
Well, then why are you you know what the biggest bullshit thing is? You wouldn't know anything about this. You answered your own question.
In New York, we have actual kosher delis, and you get whatever it is, whatever the rabbi's blessing, those hot dogs and that pastrami taste better than everywhere else. It's great shit. And then there are some delis that are not kosher, but they've figured it out. Katz's isn't kosher, but they figured it out. Carnegie, when it was open, had their thing going on. They figured it out. Then there's this bullshit trend now of New York style deli, which is basically a kosher deli without any Jews attached. And they had this deli over there. I shouldn't say that because I don't know who owned it, but New York style is not kosher. And it was just bland. It was like you wanted to really like it, and I had it fresh, and it wasn't very good. It was okay.
No, but you okay now? I really don't. So what are you saying to me here? Are you saying that they prepare the actual meat or toppings or materials of the food the same way, but it tastes different if the rabbi doesn't bless it?
Well, I guess there's something in the actual preparation that must
you think
it.
there might also be something else different
as
about
well
that
as the way it's
as opposed to just hoodoo to voodoo, and it suddenly changes the molecular composition.
As well as the amount of people that don't know how to make a good hot dog that sell hot dogs is astounding in the tri-state.
Well, how is the sausage made, Brian?
I'm not going to tell you that. Why should I tell you that? You have a horrible diet. You eat the worst things.
I know, but I don't
show no desire to convert yourself to a better way of eating.
Hold on now. Hold the phone. Just hold on to the line to pump the brakes. Squeeze them. I have not only converted my diet from all junk to just majority
40% junk,
but also much less of the junk. And now currently weigh, I believe I've mentioned, around 187, 188 pounds.
You know what? If you were on Facebook, there was a video I was going to send you the other day, but you're not there, so I didn't send you anything, and I'll just tell you about
another case of there you are.
No, they have these shorts. It's like you click on this feed, and you get like these vertically filmed videos, like one after another. Typically, they're short. There goes the name Shorts. And they had one of these two guys in India, I think, and they're great because they always make this food, and you see the whole process, and they just yell the ingredients at you. Like, sugar, salt, like one after another, then they use it. But they were frying chicken using Sprite. And I'd never seen that before. And I thought of you because you're Captain Sprite.
Well, you know, you can prepare barbecued ribs to go on the grill by baking them in Coca-Cola or Sprite. If you don't want any caffeine or whatever, the carbonation and the et cetera adds to the... and the sugar, I guess, and et cetera, adds to the overall scheme of things.
Have you ever had Sprite fried chicken?
I've never heard of the Sprite fried chicken. And I'm questioning now how the fuck that we've come around in the middle of Reggie's Corner to
talk about eating animals.
Topic of eating, how to prepare and eat. You fucking sick fuck.
Oh.
What is the matter with you? But besides that, going back to the rabbi. Yeah, I'm just saying, yes, there's got to be some difference in the preparation also of this. It's just, you're talking about a good deli or a bad deli. If it's good food or bad food. Now, if you want to be the kosher person, then you should go to the kosher place. But if not.
But the kosher place, that's the thing. There is not a kosher deli that does not have better deli food than the New York style delis.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you there. There was when I went to Atlanta in the summer.
Lido Kosher in Long Beach, Lido Kosher Deli.
I used to eat lunch every day, and I would think of New York because we lived at the Falcon's Rest, that converted fucking roadside motel that we roomed in while we were there, and right on the corner in Hapeville, Georgia, right outside the airport, was the New York Sandwich Shop. And I would go there every day for my lunch before we went to the town and get a New York cheesesteak.
New York cheesesteak?
It was, I'm telling you, because the sign said New York Sandwich Shop, so that's the way they make sandwiches in New York, right? Even though the guy was I don't know if he was Korean or Vietnamese but somewhere in that neck of the woods in the world. And I don't know if he'd ever been to New York, but a New York steak and cheese sandwich was the steak meat on a goddamn white hoagie bun with goddamn lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and I think it was some kind of Swiss cheese. And that's obviously the way they do it in New York, right?
What ended up being your favorite place in New York? Was it Carnegie? Did you ever get down to Katz's? I know you didn't go to 2nd Avenue, which is the best of the bunch.
We didn't get to Katz's, but I loved Carnegie Deli because that's the only place that I could go after a Ring of Honor show where I hadn't eaten for 24 hours and leave full. I would tear that fucking place up.
24 hours of sandwich they delivered to you. And that's how big those sandwiches were.
Oh, no, that's the thing is I would train. From dinner the night before, if I knew the Ring of Honor show at the Hammerstein, did we ever settle that argument?
Even I don't know, no. Hammerstein, I believe.
Okay, if it was a Saturday, I would eat dinner on the Friday night, and Saturday I'd be over there early, and I'd be in training anyway for Carnegie, and I'd go through all of the aggravation and heartache and frustration of the wrestling show, and then we would get over there to the Carnegie Deli and buy cracky. They say if you don't leave with some, we made it wrong. They made several of my sandwiches wrong because I ate the whole fucking thing. There's like 2 pounds of what's on the Reuben? The corned beef's what I'm trying to say.
I used to eat their pastrami. You couldn't even call it a sandwich because it would be like 2 thin slices of rye, but 2 pounds of meat on top of it.
Yes. So and the burger was a 1-pound burger, which I finished and part of a sandwich on one memorable occasion. But it was like, and the bun was giant. It was like the size of a 45 RPM record, the whole thing. I don't mean thickness, I mean circular. And everything, it was all 20. This was, 15 years ago? It was all $20 and $25 for a sandwich or whatever. But a normal person could eat on it for 3 or 4 fucking days.
You said something interesting, and then we can get back to Reggie's Corner.
Oh, I forgot. We're eating animals again.
To get away from that, just the overall idea of eating, you are an expert in eating. In terms of training yourself, if you know you have a big meal coming the next day, what should the average person's preparation be the day before?
Well, speaking from experience, just don't eat. Don't eat. Don't eat that day. That way you can tear everything because the anticipation, it's making me wait. Boom, 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 boom. It's keeping me wait.
Oh, God, come on.
I know you hate that so bad. That's why I do it. No, I mean, normally that's the thing is part of it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because I was at these fucking shows. Sometimes you get to the building at noon if it's a TV production or whatever. And by the time you get out of there, it's fucking midnight. And I don't like to eat a big breakfast and then go to a show because now I'm lazy and lethargic. So I'm always on edge at a show to begin with because I'm high. And then finally when I get out, that's my reward. Binge eating. That's why it's unhealthy for me to be around the fucking wrestling business. But anyway, back to the corner. We're over here now. Tony and Melissa. Don't know where you're from either, but you'll recognize yourselves because they lost their 12-year-old boxer lab mix, Rupert. Poor Rupert, but I especially wanted to recognize this because Rupert's sister's name was Harley Quinn. And she misses him also. And they wrote, a touching email, but I don't want to get into the medical diagnosis just to bring everybody down from being hungry after we talked about the Carnegie Deli. Gabriel and his family, I won't mention their last name, Gabe, you know why. They lost their cat, Orion.
Because he used to book Ring of Honor?
No, not that one. But they lost their cat, Orion, 15 years old, and he was obviously a big part of their family, and they played the song Saying Goodbye from the Muppets Take Manhattan at his funeral.
Oh, that really is fucking sad. Oh, my God. Do you know that song? That's a sad song.
I've not seen the flick.
If you're a kid and you love the Muppets, that's every one of the Muppets leaving the other ones sadly and slowly, including like on a train waving goodbye and on a bicycle waving goodbye. And everyone leaves Kermit all alone to try to struggle in 1980s Manhattan.
And then along comes a goddamn bus or a taxi or something and squashes the frog in the middle of the gutter at the end.
No, seriously. Well, not the end, but that is what happens. He gets hit by Kermit gets hit by a car and he gets amnesia and he doesn't know who he is. And the other Muppets find out that Kermit's play is going to get greenlit. It's going to be on Broadway, but Kermit's missing and he doesn't know who he is. So all the other Muppets have to reconvene, come back to the diner in which all their dreams came to fruition, team up with the rats that work in the diner and the other humans that are there that seem to be accepting of these Muppets. And they have to find Kermit before the Broadway play. Kermit, meanwhile, gets out of the hospital and gets a job as an ad executive on Madison Avenue, forgetting anything about his past. And he ends up working as an advertising executive until he bumps into the other Muppets in the diner the day of the opening of the play, and they drag him there. And Miss Piggy punches him in the head, and that triggers him to remember who he is and all the songs, and then they get married.
I don't know which is more disappointing to me as a member of the human race, the fact that somebody got paid to write that movie or that you just gave that detailed blow-by-blow description.
It's a good movie. I can't believe you don't appreciate the Muppets. You were a teenager in the late 70s. They were all over TV and they were wild.
Got a teenager appreciating the Muppets?
Yes. The Muppet Show is not for little kids. It just so happens that little kids liked it.
I was making towns most of the fucking nights the Muppet Show was on the air.
Muppets Take Manhattan's good. You should watch it. You need to review that. The King of Kong and the Muppets Take Manhattan.
Let me tell you, and at that period of time, if it was going to be a movie with a lot of people in it and the back row was going to be empty, I did not see movies like that on dates at that time period of my life. I went to the less popular flicks that were going to be mostly empty.
You know, the other interesting thing, too, is the first Muppet movie is the Muppet movie. The second one's the Great Muppet Caper, where they're in England and there's a jewel theft and they have to solve everything with Charles Grodin as the villain. Then it's the Muppets Take Manhattan. And that phrase got to be such a thing that when Friday the 13th ran out of ideas, it was Jason Takes Manhattan. And that was when Jason came to New York and started killing people in Midtown.
And now you've established that you know the chronology of all of the Muppets movies.
Oh, I know all their stuff. I think they're brilliant, yeah. Frank Oz, Jim Henson,
secretly,
Hunt.
When you were a child, you wanted to stick your hand up Miss Piggy's ass.
No, she didn't really do it for me.
Kermit?
I didn't want to stick my hand up his ass. I wanted to kind
of... never mind. I'm getting too personal with obviously something that's a touchy...
Well, we're back on frogs and we're back in Reggie's corner.
There's been a frog turnaround here. Rolando from Pennsylvania. Conan! Rolando from Pennsylvania wrote, "We owned 4 dogs until this past weekend when one of our beloved pets passed away. This particular dog was my son's favorite, and after a day of grieving, my son asked me if I would submit our dog's story to Reggie's Corner. Our dog's name was Henry Wigglebottom III. On account of he had a little nub for a tail, and every time he wanted to wiggle it, he would wiggle his entire backside. When Henry came to us, I knew that we were not going to let him go because he looked exactly like my first wife. No, I'm sorry. Scratch that. Like my wife's first dog, Mo. Sorry, that's an important distinction we need to...
Looks like my first wife, Mo.
Need to make. His wife's first dog. I'm sorry. It looked like his wife's first dog, Mo, who had passed away just months before Henry Wigglebottom III arrived at our house. So we wanted to recognize, Rolando, we're sorry for your guys' loss. And
your wife, Maureen.
Sorry for what your first wife apparently looked like. I don't know. Is this the last one? I hope, my God.
Is this his last wife? Is that what you were going to say?
Is this the last female? Hold on, there's 2 more.
Okay.
Dear Jim and Brian, this is from Stacy from Stratford, Ontario, on behalf of Chuck and Laura.
Okay.
Dear Jim and Brian, my WWE boyfriend, parenthetically, we only watch pay-per-views together, and his wife recently lost their English bulldog, Mr. Bean. Mr. Bean was 11, almost 12 when he crossed the Rainbow Bridge. Bean was always super excited when I would come over for the WWE pay-per-views, barking at me, following me, his little butt just wiggling. Bean was our chaperone to make sure nothing happened. So date night, as we call it, surely isn't the same without him. Actually,
this is an interesting story.
Well, yeah, and actually, so it won't be the same because without Mr. Bean there cock blocking
your WWE boyfriend, yeah.
The WWE boyfriend, is that apparently the only reason? Because here's the statement. Bean was our chaperone to make sure nothing happened. So without Bean, she says, so
it's
date
a license
night,
to
as
fuck.
we call it, surely isn't the same without. It's not going to be. I think the WWE programs are going to start getting a lot more exciting.
Yeah, without Bean, it's a license to fuck.
Well, hey, now they say this is Stratford, Ontario.
Yeah.
You know, things are void in Ontario.
Is this
so
is
I
this
think
a
you have to
Canadian
say
rule?
fornicate.
Is this a Canadian rule or is this universal, the idea you could have promotional boyfriends and girlfriends? Because I like a few AEW girlfriends. I'm talking to you, Anna J.
And no, not working for the promotion, just a fan of the promotion. And
I take it back.
It is a Canadian thing. Remember, we've talked about the Canadian food standards and how you have to incinerate the hamburger meat and everything. They also have a government rule in Canada that if you are of the opposite sex but not married, you have to be chaperoned at all times while indoors by a dog. So
where'd you where'd you find it? Where'd you hear this?
Well, okay, obviously that's what they're law-abiding Canadians. They're Chuck and Laura and Stacy and
that's so
Mr.
weird.
Bean.
That's so weird that she wrote the email on behalf of this couple and basically said the only reason I haven't been screwing her husband is this dog. The dog's gone.
Yeah.
The pants are off.
Dog gone. All right, one more. This is from Dave from Manchester, England.
Dave?
Hey there, Jim and Brian. I'd just like to let you guys know that my family's beloved pet pig, Clyde, passed away due to old age. We nicknamed Clyde Russo due to the fact that he loved to lie in his own shit and stunk the backyard out. He was such a joy in all of our lives, and we will miss him dearly, and so will our pet chicken, Cluck Norris, because they were such good pals. Clyde was a celebrity in the area, with all the children coming to see him daily, bringing him bits of food. Clyde's favorite treat was a bottle of Bud, and we would share a couple of cold ones in the summer evenings. Clyde is now being cut up for his new home in our refrigerator. Waste not, want not.
Oh, what?
I hate to hear something like that.
That was a twist ending.
I love listening to you guys all the way from across the pond.
He's going to eat his animal?
Well, I guess, Clyde's time came and Clyde's time has come. But anyway,
we're ending on that note?
Well, that's where we ran out. So,
all right.
Clyde, we barely knew ye, but hopefully at least they don't have to cook you too done over there, because this ain't Canada. It's Manchester, England.
All right, I'll play the outro music with that.
And that was Reggie's Corner.
This has been Reggie's Corner. Goodbye to our friends on the other side. On the next Reggie's Corner, we'll talk about a bunch more pets who died.
Welcome to the big time, bitch! Woof woof!
Well, that's kind of unsavory also there to do that. But